going on, guys? It's CJ, and we are back for another episode review for Life After Lockup. And today we're going to talk about Season 3, Episode 21, called Secret Lives and Prison Wives. But before we get started, please make sure that you thumbs up this video. Go ahead and like it. Also, subscribe to my channel so you'll be here for more Life After Lockup reviews, amongst other stuff that I do. I have kind of been on hiatus lately. Some stuff has been going on, but now I think I'm back. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get started. Now, I'm going to do this a little different than I normally do. Normally, I just go in order that they show us on the show, but I'm discovering that I kind of like to do it in order of interesting to least interesting. So that's how we'll do it this review, and y'all kind of let me know what you think. So the first couple that I thought was most interesting was Michael and Sarah. Now this episode starts, we see Malcolm in the kitchen and he's preparing bacon and coffee for Sarah because today is also court day where Sarah and Michael go and learn what custody they share for their two daughters. Now Sarah says, that she just kind of wants some legal guidelines in place. And I guess to kind of get a little order to where Michael isn't just able to do as he pleases. And I guess she feels the same for herself. So they go, and Malcolm is just thinking that Michael all of a sudden wants all of these guidelines and is just kind of in the picture now because he's in the picture, which is what I believe too. I think that if Sarah was single and was just waiting for Michael to come around, that Michael would still be living his life. But he kind of, I don't know, because he kind of didn't know about Malcolm, but now I think that he's really pressing the issue now because he does know that Malcolm is there. But Malcolm does seem like a really good dude, but I just kind of hate that he's in the middle of the Michael-Sarah love affair. But hey, when you deal with a married woman, whether they're separated or not, I mean, that's just kind of the risk you take. But anyway, Sarah is nervous and she goes and she's sitting outside of the courthouse and she's waiting on Michael, and I think it's like 9 o'clock. Their hearing was at 10 or something. So she's sitting outside and there's no Michael. So, for dramatics, she's calling him, no answer. So she's like, I gotta go inside. So she goes inside and she's still calling. And obviously the judge was calling as well because now it's time for their appearance. And of course, Michael does not show up. So we see production knocking on the door, and Michael kind of comes to the door with an attitude. He's like, yeah, I know I missed it. I know I overslept or whatever, but the night before he was kicking it with old girl at the bar, and he told us he took her back to the room to clear his head, and I guess he put that devil dick on her, and because of that, he overslept. And he claimed that he set his alarm and her alarm, but neither one of them went off, or he just didn't hear it. It was some BS cockamamie answer. But anyway, Sarah gets a call from Michael later on because now she's at home and she was just like, he didn't show up, and she doesn't really know how he expects to be parents to these little girls, and he doesn't even want to show up to court to fight for them. Like he just keeps saying that he's trying to fight for his daughters and nobody's going to keep him away from them. Well, you're kind of keeping yourself away from them. But anyway, he calls her and he's like, well, I'm coming over, and he's just going to make his way over there. Malcolm's still there, and Malcolm just kind of wants to know what happened at court, and she never discloses the actual custody, agreement that the judge put in place. But I'm pretty certain that she probably got full custody because he didn't show up, and he didn't even answer the phone. The judge even tried to call him, which I thought was wild. But anyway, you know, that's pretty much where their story ends. And then I want to talk about, of course, Sean and Destiny. Now, it starts back up, you know, their story starts back up with him on the phone with her sister, and Destiny was like, you know, in that phone call, she's in the back, like, get him off the phone. And she just basically says that he's only concerned, you know, about his $50,000. And she doesn't really care about that because he has too many lies. And I don't know if she's referring to what she already found out about, because you found out about his real age, you found out about his children, and you found out about all of that before you accepted his hand in marriage. So what else is he lying about? I mean, I know you're still a little salty about the meeting with Kelly, but anyway, that was no reason for you to just up and run away. I think you just wanted a reason to get away from him, and you were just using old stuff to do it. But anyway, sorry. But anyway, you know, her sister believes that she should leave him on the hook and use him up until she's done with him, which leads me to believe that this is not Destiny's first go around with using a sucker and getting all she can get from him and getting gone. Kind of took a page from Lindsay's, you know, the book that Lindsay read while she was in prison. I guess they read the same book because Destiny seems to be on the same path. But anyway, you know, Sean is still walking around thinking that this girl may be pregnant, and he just wants to know what's going on. You know, he talks to this guy at his shop who he called Kobe, but his name on his tag said Benjamin. And he thinks that, you know, Sean is basically being a trick, as probably everybody else in the shop, as do everybody watching this show. But he's telling them, you know, I told y'all, you know, y'all were wrong. You know, it's more than that, but it's really not. But anyway, he talks to Kobe Benjamin, who, you know, is telling him that maybe you should, you know, kind of check up on her Facebook. And Sean, being the older gentleman that he is, he's not really, you know, hip to Facebook and doesn't really know much about it, but he logs on and he kind of looks her up. But we see Destiny, and she's like, I don't know if she's unpacking or she looks like she's unpacking at her sister's house. And she's just kind of telling her that, you know, well, if I do get locked up, you know, the first person I'm going to call is Sean, because basically that dummy took care of me while I was in prison. So I'll definitely give him a call again. So she is definitely not in this for the right reasons, as we all knew, but she confirmed it in that little scene. Now, they get on Facebook. We back at the shop, and Kobe and Sean gets on to Facebook, and they find like multiple profiles for Destiny, and in each profile she seems to be with a different dude. And in each profile, her status with that guy, relationship status, was engaged. So now all of a sudden Sean is concluding that he could possibly be getting used, and her sister may be in cahoots with her, you know. But, you know, now he's thinking that he doesn't really know her and he wants answers. Only after you have gone and put this 50 grand on the hook that we keep hearing about, you went and obviously bought this girl a car, because you let Kobe Benjamin know that she's gone in the car that you bought for her, and you bought this engagement ring. You spent thousands of dollars on this woman, in and out of prison. So all you needed to see were those profiles with her with different dudes. That's what it took for you to think that she was using you. Never mind the way she talked to you. Never mind all the signs that were there. It just took that. But whatever it takes, now you know. And then we go to Kweilyn. We didn't see Chevelle this episode. We didn't see Chevelle at all this episode. We see Kweilyn, who's back in Texas because Chevelle put that ass out. Now, he and his mom go to see his sister, who prepared this little dinner for him. I think they had like some catfish, some spaghetti, some corn, and some cornbread. She made a little spread for him, a little yang, you know. So him, her, it was Chevelle, mom, and the two sisters. They were all sitting at the table and they were eating. And, you know, they all want to know, you know, where's Chevelle? Why didn't he bring Chevelle this time? And he was like, you know, this wasn't a Chevelle trip, but neither was the last one. And then he kind of lets the cat out of the bag and lets them know that she put him out because she suspected he was cheating. They wanted to know if he was cheating. He said he wasn't. He claims that the girl named Chi-Town was just like a girl that he met while he was locked up, I'm thinking, or met her on Facebook. He met her somewhere, I'm not sure, but they've been connecting on like a personal level, but it never got physical, so he says. But the text messages that Chevelle showed us and read to us, you know, implies different. But hey, he is gonna stick to this lie, so I guess we're supposed to believe it. But at the same time, he kind of flips the script on his sisters, and he just lets them know, you know, y'all are mighty hard on Chevelle, but Chevelle was down, you know, she was down, you know, when I did my time. She was not only there financially, because they keep referring to her as, you know, like a paycheck, as, you know, she's just trying to buy you. But he claims that it was much deeper than that. You know, she was coming to see him, taking that 3-hour trip to see him physically. She was writing him letters. She was doing things to keep his head above water mentally while he was locked up. So, yeah, he feels like she is the one because she put in the time. She was with him. And the sister feels like that shouldn't be the only reason. And he tells them, well, what happened to y'all? And because y'all weren't there. And that was kind of something that I always wondered about, because they just wanted to claim him immediately when he got out of prison, and not necessarily, you know, give off the fact that, you know, well, we were there, we were making those visits, we were, you know, writing those letters, because he lets us know that they weren't. So when that came up, the sister got very offended, and she was like, don't try to make it seem like I wasn't there for you. And the other sister kind of chimed in, and she was like, because, you know, you were getting that money when you called for it, and so don't try to go there. But he was just saying it was more to it than just money. You know, he needed that emotional support that they just stopped giving him. And then all of a sudden when he got out, everything was just supposed to be hunky-dory. But he gets heated. You know, he and the sister, they stand up, they're arguing. He walks out, he slams this shovel on the ground all dramatically, just acting a fool. But the sister comes outside, and she does let him know, yeah, I did fail you in that sense. You know, I did fall off, and I'm sorry for that. It was hard for me to live with myself knowing that I did that. But is Chevelle really the one? You know, is Chevelle more than just financial support for you? Is Chevelle, if we died today, if we all left this world today and just left you in Chevelle's hands, are you going to be okay with Chevelle? Will Chevelle give you that emotional support that you need? And he says yes. And he says that he knows that he has hurt Chevelle, and he wants to get Chevelle back, and he won't stop trying until he does. So that was that on them. So then we go on over to A Blast from the Past. We get to see Amber. And we remember Amber from the Amber and Vince saga. I mean, that story was just all kind of crazy, loopholes and twists and turns. It was just crazy. But we see Amber, and she's in, I think, Canton, Georgia, and she's working at a restaurant, and she seems to be thriving, and she seems to be doing pretty well, and she says that she's on the track to management, and she's kind of happy, and she's more so happy to have honest work, because although she misses the money that she made when she was, moving weight, making about $15,000 a week, she knows that she won't get arrested doing this, and she seems really happy, and she looks happy. She tells us that she hasn't talked to Vince in about 8 months, and that's when they broke up, when we saw her telling him he needed to go, and she hadn't talked to him since, and she would not be broken up if she never ever talked to him again. Today is also her mom's release date, and she lets us know that she, Amber, is on probation for 20 years. So she is going to be dang near, I guess, 60 when she gets out, or darn near 60. I'm not sure. I don't remember how old she is. If y'all remember, let me know. But anyway, she's traveling to pick her mom up. And then when she sees her mom, whose name is Monica, they hug and embrace, and it was just an emotional moment for her, because she hadn't seen her since she got out. And they go and sit, and they kind of catch up, and mom was giving me a different vibe. Amber had already let us know that mom, was a big time drug dealer. She was bigger than Amber was, but mom gave me the impression that she still had a little scamming in her. She had some illegalities in her, if that's a word. She still had it in her, a little running, and she wasn't finished. And so her mom asked about Vince, and Amber kind of danced that situation right away, that conversation. She's like, look, we're not going to talk about him. I don't want anything to do with him. And her mom was like, well, that was going to be our lick, that was going to be our come up. And Amber was like, no, y'all, we're going to have to find another way, because I mean, they were really putting her in an uncomfortable position, which I'm sure she was down for in the beginning. You talk to them, and it's one thing to have to talk to somebody, but it's a whole different ballgame when you are physically in that person's presence, and they want to touch you, and they want to kiss you. And I mean, she used the excuse that she wasn't really comfortable yet because they needed to get to that level. But Amber was not the least bit more, interested in that man, which I don't blame her, because he was creepy as hell, and I wouldn't have. But anyway, it just seems like the mom is still ready to be on some BS, and Amber's like, no, because if I mess up, I'm going back. I'm already on, probation for 20 years. I can't mess up. And I don't know what her mom's release terms are, but we're gonna see. Her mama sound like she about to try to get her in some more trouble, especially with mama and puppy in the mix, but we'll find out. So then we go to Brittany. We don't see Marcelino this episode. This episode was about Brittany and her mom. Brittany is taking her mom some groceries. Her mom is staying at this motel that kind of gives Brittany bad vibes, because that was where Brittany stayed, when she was 12 years old, drugged up and being, sexually pimped out to men. But she makes it to the room, and her mom answers the door, and her mom looked surprisingly good, to me. But Brittany lets us know that, my mom dropped about 40 pounds since the last time I saw her, which wasn't a long time ago. And that just tells me that she has the look of a druggie. And I thought she looked good. You know, her nose wasn't all tore up like it was the last time we saw her. And she was happy to see her daughter and happy that she brought her food. And the place is just still, you know, kind of bringing back bad memories for Brittany. And her mom tells her, well, I'm here because I lost the apartment. I couldn't afford it. So I had to come somewhere that I could, you know, afford to pay for. And they knew that she was going to lose the apartment because that was part of the plan. They wanted her to hit rock bottom. So I'm not sure what Brittany expected. You know, I don't know where she expected her mom to go. Her mom just kind of went somewhere that she could afford. So they get to talking and it gets emotional, and the mom tells Brittany that she needs help, and she asks Brittany to help her. And Brittany basically tells her that, you know, she wants to help her. She wants her to get better. She's not going to let her around her family until she gets better, but she wants to help her. And she agrees, you know, because part of her longs to have her mom with her. And she just kind of wants that happy ending, and she wants her mom to be a part of it because everything is going so well in her life right now. And she wants her mom to be sober. And that's where that segment ended. And then lastly, we go to Lacey and Shane. Now, Shane is in the backyard, you know, chilling with one of his boys from prison. His boy brings over like a 6-pack of something and offers him a beer. And Shane just tells him that, you know, I don't drink anymore. After I got drunk and cheated on Lacey, I kind of gave it up because I don't want to lose my family again. You know, things are going really, really well for us. And he lets him know that the twins didn't make it, but they still have the single baby that's thriving and doing well. And I think, did he say she was... I forgot what trimester she was in, y'all. But she's doing very, very well. I want to say he said her 3rd trimester, but hey. And he brings up that, you know, things are always good with them until John comes around. And the friend was just like, well, we're not going to worry about John because if John comes around, you know, you need to just call me and I'll dust his ass off for you. And the friend looked like he don't care about going back to jail. That he doesn't have a whole lot to lose, so he's willing to get down with John if push comes to shove. And Shane just kind of lets us know that he's trying to do things the right way because he is excited that he is getting ready to have his own flesh and blood. Somebody, a real, you know, family member. Because I guess he lost his family or didn't have much of a family growing up, so he is really longing to have a child of his own. And Lacey, they show us like a little blurb, and shout out to Ashley Miller, but they, you know, they go to a class, a birthing class, and we can see that Shane has no clue about childbirthing and what goes into it. But it was funny to watch. And so I'm kind of excited to see because he does look like he's going to definitely be an involved father, a present father. He's got a lot of learning to do, as do anybody having a child for the first time. But I think that, personally, I think he's going to be a pretty dope dad once he gets the hang of it. You never really get the hang of it because you're always learning, but I think that he'll do very, very well. And that, my friends, is the end of this review. If I forgot anything, like I said, make sure you drop down in the comments and let me know. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.